Hi SwitchUp family, and welcome back to what seems like a bit of a regular thing now, visiting the latest patch on GTA the Remastered Trilogy. I think we should probably just stop calling it that altogether. We'll just call it GTA the Trilogy on Switch to see if 1.0.5 has finally fixed all of the problems. Spoiler, it hasn't, but let's see what it has done. This has been out on other platforms for a while, but let's see what it does to the Nintendo Switch version. If you like the Joy-Con you see in this video, then check out a link in the top comment if you want to save a bit of cash and buy your own set, if that's your cup of tea. I'll tell you what isn't my cup of tea: terrible performance. Is the GTA trilogy finally ready? And what exactly does this version add? Well, let's find out. Okay, let's first go over what it actually adds to the game. The most notable of these is the fog. There is now finally distance fog in San Andreas, and you can also toggle this option to select street level fog, which, as the name suggests, adds in some fog at street level. What it doesn't do though, which is a bit odd, is actually improve the performance. I thought this might finally be the pièce de résistance in terms of performance upgrades, but it's not the case. Still, it does look a lot better than the stark, infinite view distance of the first launch. Why was it annoying for some people? Well, it made everything look tiny. San Andreas was known for being a very large map, but when you could see from one end to the other, the illusion was shattered, and yeah, it just wasn't great. As far as improvements from 1.03 and 1.05 go, well, performance seems basically the same to me, if I'm honest. Perhaps it's a tiny bit improved, but the placebo levels are real in honesty, just seeing a larger number on the update screen. You're looking at 30 frames per second. Most of the time. They had improved the frame pacing in the last update. It seems to be about the same here, but you'll still see massive stutters and drops. Now, what I will say is they're clearly trying to work on some of the trouble spots in GTA 3, with the train station area slightly improved. It's still a bit messy. I forgot to mention in the last video that they have increased the amount of time it takes before a vehicle explodes, as at launch it was instantaneous. I think over a whole play session you will experience improved frame rates in all three of the games, and San Andreas has definitely seen some improvements to some nighttime lighting effects, but I'm not entirely convinced, as many people are on Reddit, that the resolution of all three games has been improved. They're still not good enough to buy the game, in my opinion. They're not good enough for most people, and I can definitely see why, if 1.05 was what they were looking to put onto the physical media, I can see why they've delayed it. It's just not ready yet. It is nice and, It's nice that they've actually inputted the proper menu sound effects, and I haven't yet been able to recreate the crashing that was experienced by some people when they opened up the map. One nice aspect that has been added in though is the cinematic camera. Other changes are quite pleasing to fans, including adding back in Old Reese in San Andreas. They've further tweaked the rain texture. If you remember, a lot of the artwork in the game had been up-resed and you could see spelling mistakes. They've actually corrected the vast majority of those spelling mistakes now. Door signs and taxi signs have been improved in terms of resolution, and also they've actually worked on some of the, you could see different textures and artifacts popping through surfaces. There was one with water, but there were many other ones as well where you could see grass on the other side of buildings, and they've also tried to fix most of those. I'm sure there's still some in here. Where the trilogy is most playable for me is still in handheld mode. Handheld mode, to my eye, actually just looks so much better than when it's in docked. Now, I mean, that's a bit of an obvious thing really when you consider it's stretched over 55 inches or whatever the Nintendo Switch OLED screen is. And yeah, you'll still get a few performance issues, but it's actually enjoyable to play in handheld. I don't think they've really done a great deal as far as the image quality goes in all three of the games, and for them ever to be good enough for me, they'll have to push out that draw distance. It just needs to be further away from you when you're driving along, and it would be nice if they spent some time and upscaled the audio so that it was crisper and clearer, but I just can't see it happening, honestly. Still, you never know. So 1.05 changes a few little things, tweaks a few really annoying things like the fog, slightly improves performance potentially, but not to any huge degree. So 3 strikes. They're not out just yet, but it's not ready just yet either. Let me know in the comments if I've forgotten something or not noticed something that you have. And if you enjoy the content, then do consider sticking around. I'll see you again for the next patch, and maybe it will surprise us all and be fully playable. Well, let's find out. And thanks to our patrons for supporting us, and for all of you that watch the content for all things Switch, all the time, keep it Switch up. Cheers, guys. See ya!